Recording in progress.
Welcome back to this Mataya Hawadah, the spirits, the waters, and the blood. I'm your favorite Hebrew host, Wayne. Thank you. Here to enlighten you and most edify individuals. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Thanks again for tuning in. Hoping you having a blessed Sabbath day. Most definitely. Hopefully your Sabbath is going well. Salati, I hope your Sabbath is going well, and most definitely Barakatah Tawada Abram Yahweh for giving me this opportunity to address, edify, fair use, and spread information across the world for us His will in this way. Tawada Abram Yahweh Bahashem Hamashiach Yahweh Uvain Barakatah Ruach Kodesheka Etlo Yakaret Latir. And with that being said, I'm here to talk to or to show Dr. Brown's particular video, and he gives his insight on that. Well, I'll commentate all the way through it. So again, this is going to be with Dr. Brown. Share my screen if it'll act right. Hopefully everybody's having a blessed day. I know that I am. Been in scripture, got plenty of rest, and really much content throughout the day. That's it, boy. Miss Parker, hopefully you guys are experiencing a good day as well. Let me blow this up, and what am I do with this? All right, let's blow that up. All right. Make my picture a little bigger. Alright, so here we go. This is Dr. Brown. Were the ancient Israelites black? Were the ancient Israelites black? So we're going to go ahead and start this off.
All of you beneath me. Enough! You are all of you beneath me. I am a god, you dull creature, and I will not be bullied by that.
Hold on. What?
You are all of you beneath me.
All right, hold on. Let's listen to what Dr. Brown says first.
So, edition based on King James. These books I have here, a wider-ranging book by Joseph Williams, the Hebrewisms of West Africa. So I'm familiar with a lot of the arguments, the scriptural arguments, the linguistic arguments, etc. But we're gonna focus on scriptural issues primarily today. And what I want to do is also explain why this is of interest, why this is important. Now, if you want a real in-depth study, an academic study, and you really want to dig deep into what the Hebrew words mean and what the ancient texts actually tell us, it's a serious academic study, I would recommend this book, The Curse of Ham, Race and Slavery in Early Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. So it's wide-ranging, but I think you'll find it super eye-opening as well. First, I want to read to you from the article.
Please remember, take the time out to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification so that you'll be alerted whenever I release new content. Most definitely fair use, edification and commentary purposes only.
Article I just posted saying Jesus was not black or white. And I want to read to you.
And Jesus was not black or white. Oh, okay, so let me stop this screen for a second. Stop sharing. I got a question for you. If anybody can answer, please leave the answer down in the comment section. All right, so my mother is darker than I am. She's not black. She's not black. She's a darker brown than I am. Very, like 3 shades darker than I am. My little brother, 3 shades darker than I am. We both have the same father and the same mother. My sisters, There, I have two lighter than me and one darker than I am. So therefore, me being the color that I am, if you see me over in Egypt, would you say I was black? Would you say I was white? Would you say I was Middle Eastern? Or could I be what my birth certificate says that I am? A Negro. My birth certificate doesn't say I'm black. My birth certificate doesn't say I'm white. My birth certificate doesn't say I'm African American. My birth certificate says that I'm a Negro. Check out my previous videos and you'll see that most definitely I show in one of them, I can't remember offhand which one it was, but one of my videos I do show my birth certificate and it says Negro. So if you see me over in the Middle East, hair like wool, my complexion, would I be considered black? Would I be considered Middle Eastern? Or would I be of Shem's bloodline? A Negro? Interesting question. And if you can answer that question, please leave me the responses down in the comment section and I'll gladly respond to it. Because if you could tell me if I'm not black and if I'm not white, am I Middle Eastern then? Am I Chinese? I mean, help me here. Idiots.
From a book by evangelist Tom Skinner, African American, in 1970, How Black is the Gospel, a decisive and truthful message for today's revolution. So listen to what evangelist Skinner said. Many black Americans bitterly denounce Christianity and the Bible.
Okay, so now he has an evangelist by the name of Skinner giving a perspective of many, or I guess many blacks. I mean, I guess he ran into a large cohort of individuals that consisted of 100,000 blacks that he could project his particular thoughts on what many blacks would do. So I want to see his statistical study of 100,000 cohort black Christians and their opinion, and see if it's in the validity in his statement. But we'll listen to it anyway.
Because in their view, those who practice religious piety are among the leading exponents of hate, bigotry, and prejudice. They feel that these Bible-toting saints perpetuate. I just posted saying Jesus was not black or white. And I want to read to you from a book by evangelist Tom Skinner, African American, in 1970, How Black is the Gospel, a decisive and truthful message for today's revolution. So listen to what evangelist Skinner said. Many black Americans bitterly denounce Christianity and the Bible because, in their view, those who practice religious piety are among the leading exponents of hate, bigotry, and prejudice. They feel that these Bible-toting saints perpetuate the most segregated hour of the week, 11 o'clock Sunday morning. Remember, he wrote this in 1970. He said, today's young blacks, having learned more history than their forebears, are quick to resent acts of so-called Christianity and the use of those random biblical verses that are so blatantly detrimental to the dignity of the black man in America. He continued, there must have been thousands of slaves who vowed when they learned to read that they would never look at or allow their children to see those passages of St. Paul, which encouraged servants to be obedient to their masters. In many instances, these were the only portions of the Bible that all massa would allow the preacher to read to illiterate black men.
Oh,
in the
master.
hope that obedience to the scriptures would further
Now,
secure the safety of the black man in America. He continued, there must have been thousands of slaves who vowed when they learned to read that they would never look at or allow their children to see those passages of St. Paul, which encouraged servants to be obedient to their masters. In many instances, these were the only portions of the Bible that all massa would allow the preacher to read, servants to be obedient to their masters. In many instances, these were the only portions of the Bible that all massa would preacher to read to illiterate black men in the hope that obedience to the instances, these were the only portions of the Bible that all massa would allow the preacher to read to illiterate
that's
black
not
men
racist, I
in
don't
the
know
hope
what
that
is.
obedience to the scriptures would further secure the system of white supremacy. This spirit still lives. And he said this, Black America is not about to follow a white Christ. The image of a Christ patterned after Warner Salmon's portraits, his famous portrait of a white Jesus, is more than suspect. It has become a contemptuous symbol to the black man of all the fakery and chicanery endorsed by so many white Christians. And he said if Christ takes on the image of an Anglo-Saxon Protestant suburbanite, he's obviously not for black men. It is inconceivable that this kind of Christ would die for black people. And he said this, the question, of course, is whether this view of Jesus Christ is true. Has Christianity become the worship of white, used as a tool of oppression to increase the black man's burden? If this be true, it is understandable that the black man must find his salvation through worshiping black. And then Evangelist Skinner began to open that up. In other words, how the black reaction against a white Anglo-Saxon suburban...
Okay, I'm going to skip a little bit. I just wanted to let him share that particular evidence that he had of someone that's a name and an evangelist named B, or last name by the Skinner, Salathia, that never posted any statistical, statistical references in order to show what type of, how did he reach his diagnosis? Was it by a system of Q&A, question and answers? Was it, how did he receive it, and how many individuals, or is he just saying a hypothetical number of individuals that he ran across? He shows no statistical references. Did he use questionnaire? What did he use? All right, so basically we just going to keep on going. I mean, and I don't classify as black nor white. I'm an Israelite, Mataya Hawadah, from the tribe of Judah. Israelite, Hebrew.
Did not define him. Okay, now, I want to go back to some ancient documents here, some ancient pictures here. And I want to play a clip for you. This was from the debate I had.
Now he's about to show Dr. Henry Abrahams' video on when he's explaining the different nations or the different skin tones that were going in and out of Egypt. And I'll agree with him. None of them were black. Not even the Egyptians were black. You know, they were a brown people. They were melanated. Let's put it like that. Melanated, highly melanated people. Salathia.
With Guerrilla Hebrew about who are the legit children of Israel. And he's about to quote from Professor Henry Abramson. But I want you to hear what he says about Professor Henry Abramson, and then I'm going to let you hear what Professor Henry Abramson says about the original color of the ancient Israelites. But first, listen to who Guerrilla Hebrew says this man actually is. This is from our debate, which you can watch on our YouTube channel. Check this out.
I want to take you guys to a man by the name of Dr. Henry Abramson, right?
All right, this is Dr. Henry Abramson. He also, Henry Abramson. Yeah, okay. So he actually, he gave a bottleneck theory of how the Jews became white in Germany and in Eastern Europe by saying that he had Ruth, the mother Ruth, coming over into Italy and showing how Ruth, along with other Israelite women, bred with the European population. Then when it bottlenecked, they were white.
And he's notable for his teachings on Jewish history and Judaism as a religion. He was assistant and later associate professor of history and Jewish studies at Florida Atlantic University from 96 to 06. And during that time, he held appointments at a number of prestigious universities such as Oxford, Cornell, Harvard, and Hebrew University. He received his PhD in history from the University of Toronto. Dr. Michael Brown has even recently referenced his work on his Line of Fire show to assist a caller in understanding Jews in the diaspora. Right, so he's a very qualified man and somebody who Dr. Michael Brown recognizes as credible.
All right, so he speaks highly of him, right, and recognizes that I speak highly of him. But notice how he set this up. All right, let's listen to Professor Henry Abramson. Let's listen to what he has to say now about the skin color of the ancient Egyptians and the ancient Israelites. And this is a PowerPoint presentation, so he's got pictures on. And you see two different people. You see light brown skinned people who are coming in. These are Semites who are coming into Egypt. And then you see Egyptians as darker skinned. And then you have a mix of slaves, some lighter skin, some darker skin, so lighter brown skin and then darker skin. So let's listen to what he has to say.
The wealthier classes in Egypt would decorate their tombs with all kinds of amazing artwork, and because of the way in which it was preserved in the dark, we still have them, and they can be reconstructed with some clearer colors, as you see in the bottom image here. This is from 1900 before the Common Era, which would be although we don't have a really...
Okay, so let's look at the picture that he has up here. All right, so this is the bottom is the whitewashed version of it. The top is the actual painting itself. If you look at the top, all of these individuals are basically the same brown skin tone. They come in different variations of brown, I will admit that, but they're not the skin tone of what he's trying to portray in this particular picture here. Let's look at the way that these individuals are made right here. The skin tone, the brown, the Egyptians, they're dark, but they made them whiter down here, but they're darker up here. Then you go to the people on the donkey that's right here. They're brown with woolly hair, and then they're kind of brown here. Then you have the brown individuals that's up top with the bushes, and then you have whitish looking individuals down here. So slowly it's a manipulation of the mindset to make you think, or to make it appear, or to sell the idea that these individuals started turning white over, or are white depicted in this picture. You can see the picture right here from this Egyptian right here. He is of dark complexion. This Egyptian of dark complexion. This one is of dark complexion. But it is a clear case, a very, very, very clear case that the individuals that they tried to make or tried to illuminate or show as being white, they really had pigmentation. They were melanated people.
Clear date of when Abraham would have made his way down to the land of Egypt, but it's definitely in this neighborhood. And here you see the Amu, who are Western Asiatics, led by a Hyksos figure, which some scholars even identify with Hebrews, and they are coming into Egypt led by some Egyptian figures. The Egyptian figures on the right, the two of them, you can see seem to be somewhat darker in skin tone, but the Hyksos and the Amu, Western Asiatics,
somewhat darker in skin tone,
which would come from the land of Canaan. The Egyptian figures on the right, the two of them, you can see seem to be somewhat darker in skin tone, but the Hyksos and the Amu, Western Asiatics, which would come from the land of Canaan, the land of Israel today, they seem to look...
And you see that they are melanated individuals.
Pretty similar to what we saw of the Syrians and the Iraqi today. Looking at another example a little bit later, and this would have been...
Again, showing tomb of Rechamar, Rechamar. Most definitely, these individuals, they're not black. No, they're not black, but they are melanated people, except for that one. But they are melanated people.
More or less in the time that Exodus is understood to be set. This is the tomb of Rechmire, 14th.
And keep in mind, when Abraham went into Egypt. Oh, hold on, this is going to be even before that time. Yeah, when Abraham, no, when Abraham went into Egypt, he carried with him 70 souls. So with these souls, of course, they're each tribe, each nation, 12 children, 12 nations of a bloodline that is descended from him.
50 before the Common Era, and this is a depiction of slaves in various stages of the brick-making process. And as you can see, there's clearly two different complexion families represented here. Looks like African slaves, and once again, these Western Asiatics, these Hyksos or Canaanites.
Like, so if they're Hyksos, Canaanites, or Western Asiatics, and if I'm from a descendant of a Asiatic, am I black? Am I white? Or am I a Negro? Please help me here.
They're not specifically identified as Jews, but we get an impression of a mixed population coming together to build the storehouses of Pithom and Ramses. Those could very easily have been Jews. And they seem to look
All right, so what he's saying is that the ancient iconography from within Egypt, from around the time when the children of Israel would have been coming into Egypt, or would
Watch this, he's getting ready to lie.
have been enslaved there, that you have Semites, you have people coming from the land of Canaan, and they are lighter brown-skinned, like you see the people.
They are lighter brown skin. They are lighter brown skin. They are lighter brown skin.
People in Iraq or Syria today that have children of Israel would have been coming into Egypt or would have been enslaved there. That you have Semites, you have people coming from the land of Canaan, and they are lighter brown-skinned, like you see the people in Iraq or Syria today that have lived there for millennia. They've been there for thousands and thousands of years. That's what the ancient Israelites looked like many people in the Middle East today. And that others in Egypt were darker skinned. So it's telling you a couple things. One, been there for thousands and thousands of years. That's what the ancient Israelites looked like many people in the Middle East today. And that others in Egypt were darker skinned.
And others in Egypt were darker skin. The reason why I'm not using any backup literature against this particular word, the ancient Israelites black, is because I've done videos on it. I have a ton of proof, but the more proof you give to the enemy, the more they'll try to refute your proof. So I just hold back my proof. Trust assured, I have enough information to where I know who I am.
So it's telling you a couple things. One, Dr. Henry Abramson, based on this ancient Egyptian evidence, we actually see the pictures. Those watching us, you see the pictures. You can see that you have diversity of skin color.
And we can see you have a diversity of ethnic individual skin tones.
Colors within Egypt. In fact, if you look at many, many different portrayals in Egypt, you see there are different skin colors. So the idea that the Egyptians were all black, and that if you weren't black, you wouldn't fit in, that's a myth. That's a myth.
They weren't black, they were brown. They were brown. I know no black people. They're melanated people. You just admitted it.
Diversities of colors, even in Egypt today. You'll find darker skin, looking more African, and others looking more Middle
African.
Eastern. You'll see those distinctions there.
You'll see those
they still
distinctions.
Exist. So that's the first thing. So the Israelites could have been there, and among the people, you say, well, Moses was identified. They couldn't tell she wasn't Pharaoh's son, or the Pharaoh's daughter's son. You couldn't tell that. People thought that he was actually Egyptian. Right, but the Egyptians themselves.
They thought he was an Egyptian. So the Egyptians were a darker skin. So if Moses is down there, a Levite. All right, I'll do this one thing. I'll show this one thing. A Levite. Moses. All right. Who was Phineas? Bible name, meaning is story. Let's go right here. and he's just, remember in this, he mentioned something about color is not in the Bible. Then you tell me what this saying. Son of Eleazar. Hold on. Mount Phineas. Man, this is coming from the Bible. Bible study tool. Phineas. Phineas. Mouth of brass from old Egypt. The Negro. The Negro. Son of Eleazar, or Eleazar, the high priest, Exodus chapter 6, verse 25. While yet a youth, he distinguished himself at Shittim by the zeal against the immorality into which, yes, the Moabites had tempted the people. All right, and thus stayed the plague that had broken out among the people, and by which 24,000 of them perished. For his faithfulness on that occasion, and he received the divine approbation. In 10:13, he afterwards commanded the army that went out against the Midianites in 31 through 6 through 8. 31 chapter verses 6 through 8, when representatives of the people were sent to the Israelite or expulsed with the two and a half tribe whom just after crossed the Jordan, built an altar and departed without giving any explanation. Phineas was the leader and addressed them in the words recorded in Joshua 22:16 through 20. All right, so I'm not going to go into that, but I just wanted to hit right here. Phineas, which was a Levite, which was Moses and Aaron. Phineas, mouth of brass from old Egypt, the Negro. But color isn't in the Bible.
Cells were different colors and tones. And it could be that this was the time when the Hyksos dynasty was reigning. Because in Exodus 2, when the baby's taken, Moses taken from the water, they name him Moses, Moshe, Kimishitihu min hamayim, because I've taken him from the water. That's...
Now keep in mind, Phineas is a descendant of Moses. It's his nephew.
That's Hebrew. That's Semitic. That's not Egyptian. So
which is, Phineas is his nephew, which is a Levite, and he's classified as a Negro. Just like me and my birth certificate, classified as a Negro.
Actually argue, some just say it's a play on words as the Hebrew text does. But others say no, that's the way it was spoken because they were Hyksos, they were Semites. They were lighter brown-skinned people who were leading Egypt then. Hence Moses fit in because he was a Semite also. So some actually argue.
Moses fit in, which is a Levite, mouth of brass, a Negro. He fitted in Pharaoh. Pharaoh couldn't tell that Moses wasn't his son or of his bloodline. So he, because he was of the same complexion, or fit in because of his melanation.
Some just say it's a play on words as the Hebrew text does. But
no, you play on words, Dr. Brown. You play on words. Salathia, no disrespect at all, but you play heavily on words and statements and voice your own opinion over biblical thoughts and scholarly articles.
No, that's the way it was spoken because they were Hyksos. They were Semites. They were lighter brown-skinned people who were leading Egypt then. Hence Moses fit in because he was a Semite also, in contrast with the other Egyptians, some of whom were darker skinned. So some actually argue, some just say it's a play on words as the Hebrew text does. But others say no, that's the way it was spoken because they were Hyksos. They were Semites. They were lighter brown-skinned people who were leading Egypt then. Hence Moses fit in because he was a Semite also, in contrast with the other Egyptians, some of whom were darker skinned. The same way Paul, a couple thousand years later, was mistaken for an Egyptian because Egyptians were multicolored, especially by New Testament.
All right, that when Paul was being questioned, I thought an Egyptian, because the Romans were what? The Romans were white. The Romans were European. This is just crazy. Wow. This is just stupid.
Testament times. All right, we're going to look at biblical texts when we come back.
All right, let's skip ahead. I don't want to hear his commercial.
Hebrew. We're going to go through a bunch of verses, all right? Job 30:30. Now, Job himself was not an Israelite, but fine, this text is quoted. Job 30:30 says this: "My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat." Okay, I'm just going to run through the verses quickly in the King James, and then I'm going to look at the Hebrew. So I'm just going to run through them quickly. Chris, don't even bother about putting them up right now, because I'm going to go through them quickly. Job 30:30, "My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat." Song of Solomon 1:5, "I am black but comely." This is a woman speaking.
All
"O ye
right,
daughters
so
of Jerusalem,"
I know what he's
as
getting ready to do.
would use these
So
verses to
now
argue.
he's going to try to refute all of the scriptures, basically, that he's collected, that Hebrew Israelites use in order to depict skin color. So let's listen at him.
So many Hebrew Israelites use the King James, so I'm going to cite it first in King James.
I use,
and then we're going to look at the
in a correction, I mean, I use KJV, King James. I use all of them, interlinear Bible tools. I'm studying the Hebrew language. I'm learning the Hebrew language. I understand Hebrew words. So basically, I understand very much so. I don't just limit myself just to the King James Version and what was written. I'm able to look and see what was written in Aramaic and look and see what was written in Hebrew.
We're going to go through a bunch of verses, all right? Job 30:30. Now, Job himself was not an Israelite, but fine, this text is quoted. Job 30:30 says this: "My skin is black upon me, and my bones
Now,
are..."
when it's don't try to talk back. Stop right there. My skin was black upon me. How many white people you seen say, "Man, my skin just black upon me"? But how many individuals of melanated people say, "Man, I'm getting darker. The sun is tanning me. I'm getting darker"? The Hebrew words that he's playing on they're saying darker, not black. It's saying I'm getting darker. How many white people you know get darker? But he claims he knows white people that get black.
Burned with heat. Okay, I'm just going to run through the verses quickly in the King
Bet
James,
you are.
and then I'm going to look at the Hebrew. So I'm just going to run through them quickly.
He never
Chris,
looks
don't
at the
even
Hebrew.
bother about putting them up right now, because I'm going to go through them quickly. Job 30:30, "My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat." Song.
My skin is black upon me, and then I'm burning with heat. I mean, I'm getting tanned out here. I'm cooking.
of Solomon 1:5, "I am black but comely." This is a woman speaking. "O ye
The woman says, "I am black but comely." That's not an emotional state. She's actually saying, "I'm black but beautiful. I'm black and beautiful.
daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents..." Don't even
Say it
bother about
loud.
putting them
I'm
up
black
right
and
now,
I'm
'cause I'm gonna
proud.
Go through them quickly. Job 30:30.
She
"My skin
says,
is
"I
black
am
upon
dark
me,
but comely."
and my bones are burned with heat." Song of Solomon 1:5, "I am black but comely." This is a woman speaking.
The woman says, "I am dark but beautiful. I am dark but beautiful."
"O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the
Now, as the daughters of Jerusalem and
curtains of Solomon." Look in the King James, and then I'm going to look at the Hebrew. So I'm just going to run through them quickly. Chris, don't even bother about putting them up right now, because I'm
Don't
going to go
bother,
through
Chris.
them quickly. Job 30:30, "My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat." Song
The
of
skin was
Solomon
black upon me.
1:5, "I am black but comely." This is a woman
I am
speaking.
dark
"O ye
but
daughters of
beautiful."
Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the
the tents
curtains
of
of Solomon." Look not
She She's as dark as the curtains, the tents of Kedar and the curtains of Solomon. That's her skin tone. She's not talking about an emotional state. Then she goes into an emotional state.
Upon me because I am black, because
Do not look upon me because I am dark, meaning that she's sad.
the sun hath looked upon me. My
No,
mother's children.
do not look upon me because she's gotten darker, because the sun has given her a heavier tan.
Were angry with me, etc. So I'm black but comely, and don't look down on me because I'm black and the sun has looked upon me. Jeremiah 8:21. For the hurt of the daughter of my people I am hurt, I am black, astonishment hath taken hold of me. Jeremiah
All right, so now right there, that's the state of emotional status.
14:2. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish.
Another
They are black
emotional
unto the
status.
ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. Lamentations 5:10, our skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine.
My
Okay.
skin, stop. My skin was black. Come on, man. Come on. You can't. That's not an emotional state.
14:2, Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground.
They are
and the cry of
darkened unto the
Jerusalem is
ground.
gone up. Lamentations 5:10, our skin was black like an oven
My
because
skin was black like an oven. Come on now. That's not saying an emotional status. He's giving a description.
of the terrible famine. Okay.
And
First
even
thing-
if it's an emotional thing, how many white people, because of a famine, turn black? I've yet to see that.
Let's assume you can't read Hebrew at all. And let's assume that the King James translation is perfect, and it can be strongly debated. But let's just say the King James is perfect. You can't read Hebrew at all. What would you come to a conclusion? Something's wrong. Something's wrong here. In other words, these are not good descriptions. This is not a positive description of someone's well-being, even with Song of Solomon. I'm black but comely. Saying,
black
don't
but
look negatively
Look
because
at
I'm
him lie.
black. Because I'm
Look at him
the
lie.
sun's been shining.
Look at him lie.
These are all negative conditions.
How many people say I'm black because the sun is shining on me and I'm beautiful?
I don't mean being black is negative. I mean these descriptions of skin color. Something is wrong in these descriptions. All right?
Something is wrong with your explanation of those scriptures.
My skin is black upon me. My bones are burnt with heat. So Job's saying, look at something's wrong. My skin color is bad. I'm burnt. Yeah, I'm like roast. I'm burned. I'm not
Dude.
normal.
Dude,
Don't look at me. Song of Solomon. I'm still beautiful even though I'm black because I'm blackened by the sun.
even though I'm
look
black because I'm
negatively
blackened by
on
the
me.
sun.
Sun. So don't look negatively on me. My skin color is bad. I'm burnt. Yeah, I'm like roast.
skin
I'm
color.
burned. I'm not normal.
I'm dark.
Don't look at me.
got darker.
Song of Solomon. I'm still beautiful even though I'm black because I'm blackened by the sun. So don't look negatively on me. All right, Jeremiah 8:21. Because I'm in so much pain, I'm black.
Okay, I give you that.
Why are these things
He
being
didn't
said?
say I'm black, he
So,
said I'm dark.
I am not saying black
The
is
Hebrew word there
negative.
is
I'm
dark.
saying that all these
Everything that you're saying
descriptions of
when
skin color are
it
all
comes to
negative
black is you're
descriptions.
relating it to
Why? Because they're
negativity.
not about
He's using every black description that, even if it's describing the skin color as a negative emotional state, which he is totally inferring and totally lying.
race and skin color. They're about a condition that someone finds themselves in. Jeremiah 14:2, Judah mourneth, and
How many white people find themselves in a darkened skin tone condition? I'm just, please, help me here.
the gates thereof languish. They are blackened to the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is
That's talking about the actual gates.
going up. Again, a negative description. Something's wrong. They're mourning, languishing. And by the way, let's read this. Judah languishes, and the gates thereof languish. They are black to the ground. What are black? The gates. The gates are black.
I give him that one.
Lamentations 5:10. Our skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine.
Our
These are
skin
not
was black.
descriptions of how the children of Israel.
How's that not a description? That's a vivid description. How the
Gates thereof language. They are black to the ground. What are black? The gates. The gates are black. Lamentations 5:10. Our skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine. These are not descriptions of how the children of Israel normally looked. These are descriptions
he
of
cut
people
himself
in
there.
mourning, who are ashen, who are darkened, who are burnt in the sun. That's what these are descriptions of. So in no way does it tell you normal skin color. It has literally nothing to do with that. And then some of the Hebrew words used can also be translated I mourn, languish. They have nothing to do with skin color. But even if they did, it's not a racial description of the people. It's a description of people in great suffering and pain. Ashen. You lost all your color, or you look dark. What's the matter?
Turn white.
I'm really depressed. I'm really sick. Something's wrong. That's
No,
all
that's-
these verses
I guess when
say.
you're white,
And
you're
Jeremiah
happy.
14:2, in context, the they refers to the gates. You say, well, but hang on. Got a few more verses. Amos 9:7. God speaking to Israel, are you not as the children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel, saith the Lord? Have I not brought you up out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines from Kaphtor, and the Syrians from Kir? Oh, he's not saying you have the skin color of Ethiopians. In fact, race, skin color was not an issue in the Bible. That's not the big thing. Even the original heritage.
And I just showed you skin color is in the Bible. Phineas, the mouth of brass, the Negro. That's describing his ethnicity. He's a Shemitic individual of melanation. If I go outside and I take my shirt off and I leave, let's say if I go outside in a tank top, and then when I get outside, I spend all my day outside in a tank top, and then I come back in the house. When I take my tank top off, my body is going to have the tan indentate or tan impression of whatever was exposed to the sun is going to get darker. Whatever wasn't exposed to the sun is going to stay my original skin tone of whatever I was before I went outside. I get darker. Individual Caucasians get red, they get burned, they get sun cancer, they can't. Melanation is a big part of it. You, my friend, are a liar.
African Heritage Bible says that very thing, and Evangelist Skinner said the same thing. Race, as we know it, that wasn't the construct. The issue was religious separation and ethnic separation.
Israel was separate from the nations and declared separate from the nation by their genealogy, by nations, their world. And the different worlds are the different nations in which other people fall under.
Different colors of skin, that was not the issue. All God's saying here is, you're like everybody else to me. I brought up this, the Philistines from here, and the Syrians from here, and the Ethiopians from here.
Then why did the Father say that Israel and Judah are his inheritance? Elohim said that Judah and Israel are his inheritance. They are mine. They are my chosen people. And if you notice, I'm not showing you the scripture, that it's there. Just type it into your search engines. Every word that I said, and you'll see what comes up to validate it.
I'm not saying you have the skin color of the Ethiopians, or the skin color of the Philistines, or the skin color of the Syrians. Zephaniah 1:1, the word of the Lord which came unto Zechariah, Zephaniah the son of Cushi. Well, could be Ethiopian.
Okay, so now he just stabbed himself, because now the son of Cushi. Now he's realizing that he just accidentally said something wrong, because Cushi means dark. It don't mean black. It means dark.
It's saying that Zephaniah was black. Could be. Could be. Possible. We don't know, but Cushi just could be a name. Zephaniah 1:1, the word of the Lord which came unto Zechariah, Zephaniah the son of Cushi. Well, could be Ethiopian. This is saying that Zephaniah was black. Could be. Could be. It's possible. We don't know, but Cushi just could be a name. Or it could be saying his father was Ethiopian. Could be. Yeah, so we know there's black presence in the Bible. No one's arguing that Moses marries a Cushite woman.
So skin color is in the Bible. He just contradicted himself. He contradicts himself all the way through trying to explain this idiotic perspective that he has that they weren't black people. They weren't black people. They were melanated people. I am not black. I'm melanated.
So we know there's black color through the Old Testament. That's not the issue, but the people as a whole.
So we know that there's black color throughout the whole New Testament. And so basically you just said the skin color wasn't in the Bible. Now oh my gosh.
No, that's just we understand that wasn't the skin color. And how about this then? You want to talk about Ethiopians? Zephaniah 2:12, ye Ethiopians also, ye shall be slain by my sword. Does that mean God's especially going to kill black people? No! Or
Ye Ethiopians shall be slain with the sword. Pretty much that's saying what it's saying. Not all dark people, it's a genealogy, a nation of Ethiopians.
Jeremiah 13:23, can the Ethiopian change his skin or the leopard his spots? If the Israelites look like Ethiopians, why God is asking that question? Wasn't he just say, can you change?
That's a very weak assertion. That's like saying, can a leopard change his spots? Can a leopard change his spots? No, a leopard can't change his spots. No, an Ethiopian can't get white.
Change your skin color. No, because the Ethiopians, Africans, black, he's just making an illustration. Can they change their skin color? No. Can a leopard change his spots? No. You can't change your wicked heart either. Right? So he's not, if the Israelites looked like the Ethiopians, he just would have said, can you change your skin color? No, instead, it's saying that they're a separate, different people.
He was using a skin color like saying they can't, and then he gave it an outside perspective. Of course, if he's talking and he's not looking in the mirror, then he can't look and say, oh yeah, me, I can't change my skin color. But the leopard can an Ethiopian change his spots? Now, and if the Ethiopian can't change his spots, meaning can that Ethiopian change?
We come back, I just want to show you something really quickly. I could make Jesus white based on Scripture. I could make the Israelites white based on Scripture. I could make black evil based on Scripture and white good based on Scripture.
Hey, look, I can't take no more. I can't take no more. You heard, you could tune in on the Line of Fire. What's that? I think I'm subscribed to his channel, but I ain't like his content. But I'm subscribed, so I support him in some kind of way because he does give valid information or valuable information at times. But this is what I'm gonna actually close it out with right here. Is it this? Yeah. All right. Here we go. And thanks again for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed my commentary. You enjoyed the video. Please take the time out to like, share, subscribe. Hit the bell notification to get alerted whenever I release new content such as this, because I'm going to air this as quick as possible. Most definitely, Shabbat Shalom Alaikum, Shalom Mishpacha, and until the next time, enjoy.
By the historians and within our own traditions that when the Romans conquered Judea a few hundred years after the tribes of Israel went into exile, perhaps millions of Judeans were sold into slavery, into Africa, into Rome. And I'd like to now bring up another interesting place that you're finding descendants of the Israelites, but may not necessarily be from the 10 tribes, but will also play a role. And shouldn't be overlooked. It's a very serious scenario. Is in Africa. Africa has perhaps hundreds of millions of people with this identity right now of being from the people of Israel. Does that mean they're from the 10 tribes? Likely not. We were taught by the historians and within our own traditions that when the Romans conquered Judea a few hundred years after the tribes of Israel went into exile, perhaps millions of Judeans were sold into slavery, into Africa, into Rome, deep into Africa. And if you look now, you're seeing people who are most likely the descendants of those slaves who kept true. I'd like to bring up a few specific examples, because they're going to be game changing. One of them wrote letters to Israel when it became a state. And they said, we're Israelites out in Africa. You know, everyone laughed at them, and they said, African Israelites. These people are just trying to jump on the first world country bandwagon. They're living in a third world country. We got nothing. We're coming to Israel. We got innovation, technology. So they're trying to get on this train because there's such a thing called the right of return. All descendants of the Jewish people from around the world were able to move to Israel. So they said we are also. And everyone kind of laughed at them, like I said. And a few people took it serious. They went out there and started studying them, learned about their culture. And a professor from Duke University went out there and did DNA testing on them. And he showed not only did they share Semitic genes from people who were in Yemen and back to the Middle East, these gentlemen, a large percent of them, have the Y chromosome to be Kohanim, to be priests. Now, if anyone who doesn't know, a priest is a specific family clan of the nation of Israel who come from Aaron, the brother of Moses, who was the first priest. And anyone descended from Aaron has the status title priest. And we found that these men in this village in South Africa called Lemba, L-E-M-B-A, carry this genetic marker to let us know that they share the same as from the Sephardic and the Ashkenaz. The population of people in Israel today, they share the same exact DNA marker. It's mind-blowing. So everyone kind of got humbled a little bit, who laughed at them and said, now what? Now what do we do about this? This could have tremendous implications. Another area in Africa you have something big happening is in Nigeria. You have the Igbo, or Igbo, pronounced either way. There's 40 million of them, also Christians. Like I spoke about before, how that could happen to the children of Israel very easily. But also a lot of them are now coming out and converting back or adopting the rules of the Torah without all the paganism that they've been practicing for hundreds of years. There's been books written about it from scholars in Nigeria, from scholars from Jewish people. And where it gets interesting is, in America, there was a slave trade. And a lot of the slaves, a very high percentage of them, came from Western Nigerian ports. And in America today, you see a very large movement of African Americans who say that they're the real chosen people, that they're the children of Israel, they're the Judeans. You know, so what, are they just trying to create an identity for themselves because they were slaves, or is there really something here? And the answer is, most likely there is something there. Here. And the answer is, most likely there is something there. You know, so what, are they just trying to create an identity for themselves because they were slaves, or is there really something here? And the answer is, most likely there is something there. And most likely, maybe that they were the original Israelites. Maybe that the Jewish people today who are white Caucasian people came in a little bit later on. We know that some of the greatest sages of the Jewish people today who are white Caucasian people came in a little bit later on. We know that some of the greatest sages of the transmission of the Torah were converts. They're the children of Israel. They're the Judeans. You know, so what, are they just trying to create a paganism that they've been practicing for hundreds of years? There's been books written about it from scholars in Nigeria, from scholars from the Jewish people. And where it gets interesting is, in America, there was a slave trade. And a lot of the slaves, a very high percentage of them, came from Western Nigerian ports. And in America today, you see a very large movement of African Americans who say that they're the real chosen people, that they're the children of Israel, they're the Judeans. You know, so what, are they just trying to create an identity for themselves because they were slaves, or is there really something here? And the answer is, most likely there is something there. And most likely, maybe that they were the original Israelites. Maybe that the Jewish people today who are white Caucasian people came in a little bit later on. We know that some of the greatest sages of the transmission of Caucasian people came in a little bit later on. We know that some of the greatest sages of the transmission of the Torah were converts from Rome. Sages of the transmission of the Torah were converts. Sages of the transmission of the Torah were converts. Came in a little bit later on. We know that some of the greatest sages of the transmission of the Torah were converts from Rome. You have a man named Onkelos who wrote a commentary on the Torah, who wrote a commentary on the Torah, unprecedented, that we still learn today. He was a convert. Some of the largest pillars of the transmission today were Roman converts. So here we
Notice
are.
how when he said that, somebody started kicking something.
You know, I'm speaking with Caucasian Jewish people, and now you have people in Africa saying that they're the real people of Israel. It can't be ruled out at all. We know they were subject to slavery. We know that they're fulfilling prophecies by saying, we're coming back, we want to rejoin the nation. And now you have people in Africa saying that they're the real people of Israel. It can't be ruled out at all. We know they were subject to slavery. We know that they're fulfilling prophecies by saying, we're coming back, we want to rejoin the nation.
What? Shalom alaikum, Mishpah.